Here's the question: What are you willing to sacrifice? I read a quote the other day that kind of stuck with me. It said, "The death of one man is a tragedy. The death of thousands is a statistic."
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, I'm really into history.
Yeah. You're obsessed. You're obsessed. I forgot to say that.
I'm obsessed with history. Yeah. I'm obsessed with history.
Yeah.
I don't even realize my kids are making fun of me when they say nightmare and 100%. I don't even realize they're making fun of me.
Oh, they're doing
They're like, I the other day, do you guys want pizza? And Ali goes, 100%. I don't, because I say it in regular life.
Yeah. So
and I was like, for real, you want it? And she's like, 100%. And then I was like, Georgie, you want pepperoni? She's like, Dad, that would be a nightmare. And I'm like, I know, right? Fucking assholes. So what are you willing to sacrifice?
For what?
For your happiness.
For my happiness? Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Have you been really contemplating this?
Yeah.
This is deep.
I just gave up porn.
You did this for your happiness?
Yeah. I was watching a pretty fucked up video, and I was like, this isn't going to happen in my real life.
I have a lot of thoughts on porn.
I'd like to hear all of them.
Well, okay.
It's good seeing you again, buddy.
It's good seeing you too, buddy. I mean, first thing I'd like to say is that I don't shit on anybody in that industry.
I don't at all.
I know. I'm putting it out there that I don't like. There's a stigma that they deal with. In my experience, I was just saying that to somebody that my experience with people in that industry is always amazing. Like, I'm saying that I've been fortunate to do like comedy bits with adult performers.
Yeah.
I just did a couple. I just had two in.
In the new thing?
In that thing, two came, but they're
Who?
they're
Can you tell me who?
I don't know if it would ruin anything. I mean, I'll tell you. Of course, I'll tell you who.
Yeah, but you want to edit it out?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I had
Okay.
this thing, and but in my experience,
Good call, Halston. Good call.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
Jesus, doing the Lord's work.
That's not hard. But anyway, is that they're always so cool and nice, and so I just want to put that in a.
I will take it a step further. I think the whole industry as a whole is a nice decompression button from regular life. I can't. Here's where I have a crux with it. I can't imagine living a life where my wife wasn't cool with me watching porn.
Yeah, that'd be strange. I agree with you.
I have a friend who's not allowed to go to a strip club, and like Leanne's totally cool with strip clubs.
Yeah,
and I think growing up in Florida, I think maybe because in Florida, at the end of the night, that's where everyone went.
Well, strip club also as a group is very different than strip club alone.
By yourself.
By yourself. It's very different. But the
it's a regular sized dick.
It is not.
That's a regular sized dick.
It definitely is not. I promise you.
This guy's pretty good. Who's he?
I hate that I know who he is. Okay.
All right, keep going. But so pull it off the screen. I'm going to watch that.
So this is what I was saying. So first of all, what I'm saying is, like, great people. They've always been so sweet, and every time I've met somebody like that, they've been great. My thought on it, to one degree, is that you have to accept that this is fantasy and entertainment, and it's serving a purpose. And there's times in your life where, like, it really does serve. You know, you're alone. Let's say we're comedians. We're on the road, and you know, you're in a room. You're in your hotel room, and you're like, I just want to like jerk off, right?
Yeah.
And you pull it up, and it serves its purpose. I can think of times too, especially when I was like, I don't know, I feel like I just got here, early 20s, alone, where I can think of like watching what I would say is like just way too much, and you get into this space where you're like, this isn't healthy, because too much of anything can be like disruptive to you. I think there's an imbalance to it. And I think the older you get, I mean, to me, I've become less interested in porn as I've gotten older. I see it for what it is. I see it as serving a purpose, it being there to do something to stimulate your mind in some way, you know, to arouse you, that it is a fantasy, but ultimately it isn't it isn't reality. And even like people that work in the industry would tell you, like, no, this isn't real. This is a performance that we're putting on.
Yeah.
I actually think and this isn't because I don't want to take, I preface this with like, I don't want to take business away from any of the ones that work, whatever. But I think I think we're all better off not consuming it all the time.
It's so
I'm saying this as somebody who's watched plenty.
I've watched
and I joke about it all the time. I talk about it, and I'm not an anti-porn activist at all. I'm saying for your mind, for your happiness, for your sex life. I think the way that it serves you as a couple or whatever is probably to watch, like, if you find something you like to watch together.
I think it would be great. I never in a million years could get Leanne to watch it together.
No.
Like, here's what's crazy is she's cool with it. She's cool with me watching porn, but I don't think she knows what porn is. Like, I don't.
What
like,
do you mean?
I don't think like I think she's cool with me watching it, but she's not cool watching it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, she's cool with the disconnect of going, if that helps him get through the day and keeps us happy,
There you
and
go.
he needs to jerk off at watching, whatever he needs to watch, or these girls, which is crazy because like the girls I enjoy most remind me of Leanne.
Have you ever met any of them?
Yeah, met Christy Mack. But that, what's crazy? Here's the crazy thing about like meeting Christy Mack is like, I mean, I say this respectfully, and I hope this doesn't come out wrong, but like, I felt a tad bit creepy at times because even like I'm a fan of hers.
Yeah.
But first of all, she's a little different than everyone else because I followed her life. I followed her when I first heard about her on Rogan, right?
Yeah.
When she was dating that one guy.
Yeah.
John. And then I followed the tribulation. I followed them at like MMA fights. I was like, oh shit, that's a Christy Mack chick.
Yeah.
She had a cool look. She was all tattooed
Very
up.
cool, yeah.
She liked snakes. I like snakes. She liked fucking dogs. I was like, oh, this is a cool chick. And then you follow the fight and the beating and then the
whole story.
And then you follow all of it. And then in a weird way, you're like it's good to see her happy, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But also, there is a moment where you're sitting in a room with her talking, and you're like, my only way of coming about you is by watching you naked.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe you didn't experience this too. So far, and this has happened 100% of the time for me.
Yeah.
Every time I've met a porn star,
Yeah.
I can't sexualize them anymore.
Oh, I haven't.
Because
Funny. I think meeting Christy Mack's boyfriend was the thing that killed it for me.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
I was like,
too.
he's a really cool dude.
That's it. The thing is that, like, because what you realize is that when you want, like, if you just go to like a tube site and you watch a clip,
Yeah.
right, you're just like, you're in this room with this person who there's a distance between you and them in like reality. They're just like this uber sexual person.
Yeah.
And you're watching them have sex, and like, okay, that's super arousing. When you're at the Comedy Store or wherever, and somebody goes, "This is Christy Mack," and you're like, "Oh, hey," and then you just start talking about, like, she's like, "Yeah, a flight was delayed," and you're like, "Oh yeah, do you fly into LAX? Fucking nightmare, right?" And then you start talking about real life stuff. The separation from fantasy person to real person, it's like this thing just kind of disintegrates,
Yeah.
and then you go, "Oh, you're just like my friend." It's like you're a regular person now. I can't watch you anymore in that personally.
I have not.
I can't
have
watch
not
you in that
watched
context.
one clip of Christy Mack since I met her, and you're right. I can't because I met her and her boyfriend, and I was like, and I felt weird.
By the way, they all hate us so much right now. They're like, stop saying to not watch.
Do not meet them.
Yeah.
Is what the
That's
point
what
is.
I'm saying.
Don't meet your heroes.
Yeah, don't meet them. Don't meet them.
It's because it is. I wonder what. So like everyone goes. I was going to do comedy, right?
Yeah.
So because everyone thinks they're funny.
Sure.
I think that's what the weird part is. That I think there's a kinship between porn stars and stand-ups and strippers because we all work at night. We all have fun. Everyone's like, oh, that would be the lifestyle. And then you're like, well, you don't live in it, but it is fun. We chose it. But I think there's a kinship in occupations. A bunch of us late night
100%.
bartenders, chefs, porn stars,
There's
strippers,
it's a fraternity.
bouncers. Like we work like vampires. And so, but I wonder, like people always go, oh, I'm really funny, or I could be. I wonder, so the percentage of people, and we actually probably know a lot, they could have been stand-ups had they committed their minds to it or
I have
tried.
a friend that I think of immediately.
I have two that I go, immediately I go, the funniest guy I've ever met.
Still go, you're so goddamn funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
And I wonder what percentage of women could have been porn, like, or like, so like, I use Christy Mack, and I'm so sorry that we're using her name specifically.
Yeah.
But like, Christy Mack is a well, Adriana Chechik, perfect example.
Yes.
I just use her so that we shoulder some of the name. Adriana Chechik is a superstar in bed.
Yeah,
the things she does sometimes you'll go like, whoa. Like, I didn't even think about something like that.
Sure.
I wonder what percentage of women are like that in the bed. Because, I mean this respectfully, Leanne is not a adventurous X Games star in the bed. She's not like seriously, see if you can put your whole fist in my ass. Like, that's not Leanne. It's not fingers in her asshole, not going to happen.
Yep.
Pussy to mouth, that shit doesn't happen. Like, she's just a real fucking, she's a offensive lineman of sex.
But you also realize that is... You realize that is most, right?
No, that's my point.
That's
Is like what percentage is not? Like what percentage of women?
There's some super freaks. Let's be clear. There's some super freaks out there, and I think some of them go like, I could do that, but there's the biggest difference between the regular person who's like, I'm a freak and I can do this professionally, and the ones you see is everything. I think is different when there's lights and cameras and people standing around you in a room.
Okay.
That's what separates all of them. Is that they walk into the room the way you walk on stage. You walk on stage, and you know your funny friend who doesn't do stand up. It's different because the difference is you're like, yeah, but I'm gonna get up on stage and everyone's just gonna look, and it's just gonna be me and a microphone.
Yeah.
And this horrible body, and they're all gonna laugh. And that's like.
Wait, are you talking about me?
Yeah. The difference is that like the sexy girl at home or guy who's like, I could, because there's a lot of dudes who are like, I could, dude.
I have so many friends that I grew up with that are like, if you didn't show my face, bro, I'd put it down.
Right. And the difference is you walk onto a set. I mean, I was on a set yesterday that was not shooting a porn, but there's porn people there, and you start thinking about it. You're like, I mean, there's cameras, there's 20 people standing around, there's lights, and you're just like, this is where a guy is just like, yup, naked, ready to go. I mean, that is a different type of pressure.
Bert and Tom, Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call two bears, one cave.